Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I thought I would turn the camera on and let you see what I'm doing in the floor in the workshop this morning. I pulled out this box of black, gray, and white themed fabric. I love having the fabric organized like I do. It's all up on that shelf, but I need to do more fine tuning, as I've already mentioned. That said, I found these really cute little panels for Halloween, and I want to make a bag to carry for myself when Halloween gets closer. And I love to make these just junky, like boho bags, nothing fancy and nothing that takes a long time. I had a piece of this silky, it's a very silky fabric, and it's so beautiful. I'll try to take a picture to show you up close. It's got a tiny little floral pattern, and it's silky on this side, a little rougher on the inside of the fabric, but still really smooth. It's easy to tell which is the right side of this fabric. And as you can see, it rolls a little bit and it unravels. So I'm just looking at this and thinking, how can I best use this? If you look, I have a long piece of fabric, and my first thought was having two squares to sew together, but there's no need in making an extra seam if I don't have to. There's this nice finished edge up here, and this has been cut with pinking shears, so it'll be pretty easy to turn that over at the top and hem it and, you know, put some seams up the side. Now I'm looking at the shape of it. This piece of fabric was just a scrap piece that I bought, and it was already cut. And let me just unroll this so I can see what I've got here. Okay, there's a cut there that I didn't notice, so I'm going to have to address that. And then, so that would make it a little, let's see if I've got enough width. I do. It's going to make it a little more narrow than I was thinking, unless, honestly, the bag doesn't need to be that tall. I've made bags before that were too tall. Let me grab my pinking shears. And let me just kick my flip-flops off and put them over near the door. There you go. So let's just cut straight across. Oh, when fabric rolls up like this, it's a little harder to deal with. But again, this is not anything that's going to be fancy. Trying to keep the fabric lined up the best I can so that I don't end up with something that's way, way crooked. It's neat. That fabric and the shape when it rolls up is kind of making it look like a doctor's bag or some sort of tote that feels a little bit creepy. Hopefully this is going to be all right. So let's just cut straight across here, and I am going to pin these panels down where I want them. Let me grab my pin cushion. I have a couple of pin cushions. This one's got some really large pins in it. So let's do this. First of all, let me pin this at the edge so it will quit rolling over into the center of what I'm doing. Hopefully. There. And then I need these pinned into place. And the other thing that you can see, of course, is that this fabric unravels. And I'm okay with some of that. I'm going to put these on with a zigzag stitch. Probably, I hope you can hear me. I know I'm talking down towards the floor. Probably what I need to do, though, is give it a little bit of a trim just around the edges. I mean, I want something sort of boho and eclectic and junky, but not absolutely horrid and falling all to pieces. This panel says Witch's Brew, Potions and Elixirs, and Book of Spells. Things like this are fun. I don't consider myself a witch. I have a lot of fun with Halloween. And let's see if I turn that under to him. So that's going to give us enough room. Yeah, I think I'll just do it like that. And this way, when I pick up the fabric and unfold it, I will know where this needs to be. And then we will put the other panel on the other side. And we'll take these pins out of the sides so that we can open the fabric up. So there's that side. And then on this side, yeah, I need to trim this one up. This one's got a little strip of green that started the other panel. And these were scraps that I bought. So I did not originally cut all of these. So some of them are not, some of them weren't complete. Y'all can tell I just rip through things at a high rate of speed. I like to get things done. I do take time on a lot of things, but for projects like this for myself, I just like to have fun, make it easy and simple. I don't worry about perfection on projects like this. I just want it to be something that I feel good about when it's finished. I really hope you can hear me. I know I shouldn't be talking straight to the floor the whole time. Jason's got rehearsal this morning, so his studio is full of musicians, and I'm out here in the workshop. So now let's take these pins out of the side and see what we have. So I've got these where I need them to be, and I'm going to go ahead and sew these into place with a zigzag stitch, and so that we don't get too much unraveling. This will be fun. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off while I'm doing this part, and I will be back. Let me get these pins. I don't want to leave those near the sewing machine. Oh, I love the way this turned out. Oh wait, hang on. I think I need to widen the lens, the view on the camera. There we go. Hopefully you can see me now. Oh my goodness, this is so perfect. I hope you can see it. I went around the edge with a zigzag stitch, and when I'm completely done, I'm going to show you this over at the desk so you can really see. I decided to go back with a straight stitch and just add some stitching around to give it more interest. I love this. I love the way it turned out. Now what I've got to figure out is, do I want to do the seams on the side first and then hem around the top? Or should I even hem it, since we've got this? I think I do want to hem it because I'm going to be carrying it. What I was going to say, we've got the edge from the pinking shears, and I want it to be kind of eclectic and a little junky, but not, as I said, I don't want it to just look, you know, like no attention was paid at all to how it was put together. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is turn it this way. Definitely need to pin this, as you can see, because it is rolling up on the edges big time. And for pinning the sides together, I'm going to start at the top so that I will have it equal. If you start at the bottom, it's easy to be off by just a little bit. Oh, that scared me. I thought something was on my foot. It's actually pretty creature free out here, but every once in a while I will see just a house spider or one of those big crickets, you know, those big like basement crickets. They like it out here. To avoid just, you can see how much this is unraveling now that I have unrolled the edges. And you know how purses can get on the inside if it's just a raw edge, you get all of these strings on the inside. I don't want that. So what I will probably do after I get these seams sewn into place is take, honestly, like a little bit of tacky glue and go right down the edge on each side on the inside, just to keep everything in place. And honestly, the way this fabric is rolling up, it might keep it from unraveling to a large degree, because this side is really, really rolling up. It's so bad it's making it hard to pin it. I might have asked this already. Is anybody watching 1883? We're watching that, and my goodness, I'm impressed with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Maybe I already said that. I think maybe I said it in a previous video. Don't want to poke myself in the leg. Can you hear the birds outside? I love being out here. Ow. Okay. So, can you see how this is rolling up? It's crazy. It's just crazy. But I love this fabric. It feels so Victorian and old-fashioned and like funeral parlor-ish. So I am going to go set the sewing machine on a straight stitch, kind of a short stitch, so that we get a really good tight seam. I might actually go do 2 seams, like a double seam or whatever. And then all that's left to do is do the hem around the top and make some straps and add those and then bling it up a little bit. So I'm going to go put these seams on either side and I'll be back again. I'll be back. Okay, let me show you what we've got. I just need more coffee. I went ahead and stitched down both sides. I did 2 rows because it is a ravelly fabric. I don't know if that's a word. I did cut off some of the strings and I put a tiny bit of tacky glue. You can still see where it's white there, where the tacky glue is drying. And I'm not going to get tacky glue on my scissors. I didn't get too close. And so now let's turn it this way. We'll have to turn it again to put the hem in the top, but I want to see what it looks like. It's really cute. You know, sometimes like you could turn the hem out this way if you wanted to see that fabric over the top, especially if you're going to bling it up. But I think since we've got that edge with the pinking shears, and I'm not going to need to turn it twice, because this is just a fast project. I'm not worried about perfection. I'm going to turn it under and we will pin it all the way around. Now, there are things that you can do to change the shape of bags. And there are things that you can do to, like, well, there are different places that you can put your handles or handle. Sometimes I only want one handle. You can take this corner and turn it up and tuck that into place there, and it'll give it a bit more of a square shape at the bottom. And I almost always do that. Then you could add a button or like some kind of like a black fabric flower or something all the way up the side. And don't forget, we have all this Halloween ribbon. There's a lot of that in my shop. I've created bundles of that for the Etsy shop. And I've already sold 1 bundle, and I'm working on Halloween packs this morning. And let me just show you this. There are only going to be 2 of these. I have a couple of bags of Halloween fabric. These are kind of heavy, actually. I don't know the weight right offhand, but I digress. So what I'm going to do at this point is, let's go ahead and pin this where we want it. So that's going to be turned up on that side. I think this may help with the seam in the bottom too, like not blowing out that very corner of the bag. So that's not too, that's kind of cool, isn't it? As far as handles, this came with the scraps of fabric so that you can make handles. But I don't know if I want that. I don't think I do. I think I want something more eclectic. And I have, where is it? My bag of fabrics. This fabric feels a little bit like bark cloth. In fact, I think it is. So I thought about making a couple of handles with this. Or I could do one long handle. I feel like I want two though, and I feel like I want them sort of centered. I don't know. What do you think? It depends on the weight of the fabric. And since this is not lined, I'm just wondering if it's going to be too much pulling. Well, that is a heavy fabric. You can make one long strap and start sewing it. You can attach it to the sides so that it's really holding onto the bag. There are so many ways to get creative with this kind of thing. I'm going to turn the camera off for now completely, and then I will see you back at the table after I've added these things. I'll make a decision about the straps. Just to tell you what I'm thinking though, if I was going to have a strap this length, which is kind of short, I really wanted it to be longer than that. And probably what I'm going to do is end up with one strap that goes up here. I do like this fabric. I like this. That's not heavy enough. What else do I have? Maybe I better just take a look. Okay, so what I was saying, I'm going to go ahead and make my decision about a handle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I will be back with my bag. Yay! As promised, here we are at the desk, and I want to show you the finished bag. I love this thing. So you saw most of the steps. I showed you how you can take the corners and pull them up and just tack those in place. And if you use that zigzag stitch that goes back and forth, leave the threads kind of long, and then you can tie them off and cut them so that it doesn't come loose. I did something a little different this time. I don't always do this, but I pulled some fabric around to make a tuck here that sort of matches the bottom. And what it does, it keeps this from just totally gaping at the top when I'm carrying it, although it still gives me a lot of room on the inside. I love making bags. When I had my store called Sidetrack, that was one of my favorite things to do, is just buy scrappy material and make bags. And I had my sewing machine set up in there, and sometimes I would just sew all day while people were shopping, and I would make these really fast, scrappy bags. And you know, they were simple. I didn't always take the time to do tucks and things like that, but I would give them out sometimes with purchases. I would use those bags to put the purchases in, and the customers loved that. Now, bags that were really had a lot of detail and I spent a lot of time on, I sold those in the shop. And I did have customers who started to come in regularly just to see what kind of bags I had in the store. I went around the top with this ribbon. I have some velvet ribbon that I scored recently while out shopping, and I'm going to be putting some of this into each Halloween pack that I'm making, and hopefully I'll have those ready soon. I've been working on those. So I just sewed all around and left a nice length at each end, and I stopped my stitch far enough apart that I could tie a knot here. And then we have some charms. We have a lock, which can seem kind of creepy or scary, and then this bead that looks like an eyeball. I've had that for ages. It's a glass bead. And then just a cat charm, and of course cats can have a creepy vibe. We love our cats. We have 4 cats. Anyway, you gotta love our animals and take good care of them. So that is the bag, and I love it. Now I wish I could just go ahead and start carrying it. Let's cut these at an angle at the end. But I will have this ready to go for Halloween or for October. I do really love this a lot. And yes, it's a bit scrappy around here. Still going around cutting loose threads. But the inside is pretty nice. You can see where I hemmed around the top there, and it was cut with pinking shears, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of unraveling there. If that happens, I mean, I could go in even with some fabric glue and glue some seam binding or something. I don't expect that to happen though, because I'm not going to be carrying this all the time. I will just carry it in October. Okay. So thank you for watching. I will be back really soon. I want to do some art journaling and show you the new inventory in the shop. And thank you. Bye.